Hello and welcome to Walpole United WFC.
Good evening and welcome to Walpole United WFC. This is Ben and Matt, Saturday Night Live, pre-recorded edition again. Hey, we're good old pre-record. Now we've got a few things that between me and Matt that we're a bit busy with tonight. So unfortunately, we've had to pre-record it, but nonetheless, we're bringing you a show anyway because we don't want to let our fans down, do we, Matt?
No, that's it, pal. Spot on.
How are we anyway, buddy? You good?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Nice sunny Saturday. Well, gonna have to say morning now because I can't say evening, but it's one of them. It's give or take. But yeah, nice sunny day, which makes a change. It's not too cold out, so can't complain on that front. But yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Probably watch the North London derby as well today. And then yeah, just crack on really.
What time's that one kicking off, pal?
1:30.
Well, that's all right.
So by the time this goes out, it will have finished. But
yeah, obviously.
what we need is Arsenal to do us a favour and muller Tottenham, and then we need to follow that up with a win tomorrow against Everton and nick that third, fourth spot back.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Before we go on to anything else, I haven't personally heard your thoughts on Tottenham because unfortunately I've not been on any show this week because I've been under the weather, I've been unwell, I've been full of fucking flu. I still look like shit, I still feel like shit, but the show must go on as it is. What did you make of the Spurs game anyway?
Yeah, it wasn't great in terms of like watching it. Obviously, I didn't make it down due to a few work commitments, and obviously I watched it on telly, and it was everything we talked about on it last week. Do you know when I said to you probably one goal would define it? I mean, okay, it ended up 1-1. It shouldn't have done, but it would have been the 1-0 that I did mention. And we just didn't break them down. I knew what we were getting, and this is why obviously we spoke about it, and I said it'd be tricky, but we just didn't get people that can cause issues for us involved in the game. Tooney, we didn't get her involved too much. The two wide players looked a little bit lost, maybe, sort of, running down blind alleys, but it was just, I don't know, there was bits that were okay, but then there was bits that were thought Haley had a good performance. Mary Earps as well. But just little things at the minute are costing us, like inability to see the game out or switching off from a defensive point of view. I don't know if it was Maria and Thor or a mixture of both, but one of them's got to go and take charge. That was a simple ball in the box, and it just bounces in. Like, if you put your head on that and jump, do you know what I mean? It's away. It's just a nothing ball. So a little bit disappointing in that respect. I know sort of things have been said from sort of, the manager's point of view. And he's sort of said, well, this and that and things like that. And some people probably didn't take too kindly to it. But I just think, what players said on social medias after the game was that they were disappointed and it wasn't great. So listen, they know. So, and I think as fans, we know it's just about, I don't know. I keep saying it's just about learning from it, but it seems that I don't know if we are yet learning from it, if that makes sense. Like, we seem to say, Chelsea game, let's bounce back, let's learn from it. Even the City game, I was disappointed, and people like, oh, it was a 2-2 draw. Yeah, but I'm not bothered. I want to win. We should have won. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, how many times we're going to sit here and say we've got to learn? I don't know. I feel like a broken record, but that's an honest assessment. I don't know how I can summarize it because it's just so many basic mistakes. It's like the Chelsea game was individual errors, Tottenham game was individual errors, and it's like it's costing us. I mean, listen, we've not lost, but that's not the point. That's 2 points dropped against City and 2 at Tottenham. That's 4 points, and that's a hell of a difference in a league what's very, very close and even closer this year. 4 points is the difference between us finishing 3rd and 5th. So, especially with Brighton up there, I just feel like I don't know whether something's got to change, whether it's personnel, whether it's the way we play. And I'm not saying, listen, let's change formation. We shouldn't need to, but the way you play in that formation may need to change. We play it out from the back. Do we need to mix it up? Do we need to maybe have a look and say to both wingers, actually, do you know what? Don't go central, go out wide, because Mark talked about winning one-on-ones. Listen, both wide players are capable of killing a player one-on-one. We've seen it since season 1. And I think there's a little bit of creativity lost by them cutting in. And that's not necessarily the player's fault. because that's the instruction. But I just feel like if you're saying you need to win your one-on-ones, and then you're not giving your players the freedom to be able to do that, and then you also need, I think, what was the other thing he said? Oh, we need to be nasty. And how many shows have we done on about being physical and nasty and really getting stuck in? And there only seems to be a Haley Ladd and maybe one or two others that do it. And it's like, well, hang on a sec. As fans, we've seen this and we've talked about this and we know this. And I'm not saying fans are always right, far from it, but it's little things like that. And you think, well, Jesus, like, you know, how are you not seeing it when everybody else is? And I think that's a little bit where, like, not ag, but do you know what I mean? A couple of the frustrations from the fan base come from. So, yeah, overall, not too chuffed, really. Like I say, players weren't chuffed. And I just feel like another opportunity missed, especially because they were above us. You know, the chance was there to claw the points and the gap back, and we've kind of not done that. So, obviously, it sort of leaves us in positions now where every game is like must win pretty much now. Do you know what I mean? Everton away, tricky home tie against Arsenal, and then we go from there. So I'm just hoping we can turn it around. Let's end it with a positive. We're going to beat Everton tomorrow, and then hopefully we can kick on and just keep plugging away, I guess.
A lot's been said about Mark Skinner over the last week now, you know, about his comments after the game as well. Very strange comments as well, to be honest with you, you know, whether it be zone 14 or talking about long locks and blowing wind and stuff like that. I mean, and then sort of maybe having I don't know, would you class that as a little bit of a slide dig at the fans as well, the way that he came across in that interview afterwards, you know?
I mean, me personally, I didn't take it as a sly dig. I think what I did say, and I think this was Monday's show, we spoke about this with John. I said he always seems to have the same tone when he's talking. And it's like, if we've dropped points, the tone doesn't change. If we've lost, the tone doesn't change. And it's like I said on Monday to John and whoever else we had on, you know, don't want him to be like, you know, Mr. Down and negative and all that. Far from it. But it seems a little bit too cheery at times. And I don't know if that's like in general. So the way it comes across is quite like cheery. Do you know what I mean? And I think for me, if he could maybe, you know, mix it up, you know, you knew when Casey was upset. But it's one of them where we really now need to sort of look at it and think, well, hang on a sec. Why are we always in the same tone and quite cheery all the time? Like I say, under Casey, we knew if you were, or she was, should I say, like a little bit down and peed off. Whereas his tone is always the same. And like I say, it just needs to be mixed up a little bit. And fans react to that. Fans can see if, you know, you're angry, sad, whatever, you know. And I just think that doesn't help. I'd say the comment about the wind in his hair, that was, I don't know, maybe that was a poor attempt at a joke. But the zone 14 thing, I don't know if it was trying to maybe prove a point and say, well, actually, this is what we want and this is what we are. But, you know, players have got to be on board with that. You know, there's conversations with a few of us and they were saying, did he know what that means or what they're doing? And I said, well, to be fair, like when I've coached, that's something that's introduced at sort of under 18 level, you know, when you get to your serious sort of academy level. So maybe that's not done in the women's game. Maybe that's not what they teach about the different zones on the pitch and it's split up into 18 zones. I don't know, but I just think that the way, like I say, the way things are communicated, and like I said before, I don't want him to always be down or anything like that, but maybe just change your tone. Like I say, Casey, you knew because it was a little bit like slower and, you know, peed off looking. Whereas this is all like, well, we did great things and it was this. And like I said on Monday, it was quite animated. But, you know, I'm not going to read massive amounts into it because it is what it is. But he's always like that, isn't he? So maybe that's just how he is.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely. You know, I think we just got to take I think we're just a little bit of getting used to the lad. You know, he's a bit different to other managers. You know,
yeah. Sure. To be fair.
Oh yeah. It's like I always comment saying he's a walking gap advert. Never mind a manager. You know what I mean? The way he dresses and everything. The way he is.
Sense.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying he hasn't got a good dress sense, mate, but I prefer a manager to suits and ties, mate, with the club's blazer on. You know.
Well, we can't all be like John.
Well, yeah, true, mate.
He's got a better dress sense than our John has.
But I'm from that traditional old school Sir Alex Ferguson, Sir Matt Busby type of manager, you know, with the club's the club's suit on and everything. But look, even Solskjaer doesn't even wear the club suit on half the time, you know. So I can't be moaning him too much. I am just a little bit disappointed after the Spurs game. Obviously, I went down with Rob. You know, travelled down. And just says we never learn. We just never learn from our mistakes. It's like we get a goal in front. Whether that be a 1-0 or a 2-1, maybe, whatever it may be, we always get a goal in front, and then we'll sit off, we'll sit back, we'll relax, we'll let the opposition come at us, and it's like you're at the most dangerous at a 1-goal lead. Why are we trying to defend 1-goal leads? It's just stupid. Do you know what I mean? And that maybe happened a little bit towards the back end of Case Stoney's time as well. I'm looking at it. Why are we defending 1-goal leads? Why are we not going in for the kill? You know, to be fair, some of it could probably be put down on the manager, but a lot of it as well is put down on the players. We've got to take our chances. We had quite a few chances second half, you know, to bury the game, and we didn't take our chances. We did. I agree with you. We didn't get key players involved as well. I look at our wingers in particular. I'm thinking, why are we not playing to their strengths? Why are we set up that they're all sitting in so narrow? So every time they're getting the ball, every time the fullbacks are getting the ball, there's no outlet for the fullbacks. It's exactly the same problem for the under-23s, the men's. It seems to be the United, from whatever age group, from whatever, whether it's men or women, are set up exactly the same, play exactly the same across the board, and it's really frustrating because when the fullbacks get the ball, there's no outlet for them. And by the time that you're supposed wide players like Hanson or Galton do get themselves out there, 2 or 3 players already covering that position.
If you look, like you said, when the fullbacks get the ball, there is no option because the wide players have already gone in and it's crowded in the middle. There's nowhere. How many times have we sat at a game, home or away, and said to the fullbacks, push higher, get higher, use the space, there's loads of space out wide. It's congested. But one thing I did notice in the difference, I mean, this is not just one game, but it was more apparent sitting on a telly watching it on Sunday, was that, you know, I think it was Farrah Williams that was on commentary, and she was sort of mentioning, you know, under Casey, it was quite what you call it, like you'd attack with sort of pace and power, and it was bang, 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 let's go. Ours seems a slow build up. It's very sideways, backwards, sideways, retain the ball, sideways, forwards, backwards, sideways, which is fine if you've got an understanding of how to do it and how to move opposition out of position to sort of getting behind and attack them. So if you're moving them about and stuff like that, fine. But possession doesn't win you football games, and everybody knows that, you know. So we could have all the possession in the world. You know, Man City had something like 75% possession and lost 5-0 to Arsenal, who saw 25% of the ball. So, you know, it's things like that. It's what you do with it. And I just think there needs to be a little bit more, what's the word? Maybe like attacking promise, I'm going to call it. A little bit more forwards. Let's go with numbers. Like you say, we've got some of the best forward players in the world and we're sitting on a 1-0. And it's not just under Mark. It did happen under Casey, granted, as well. But those players need to be given the freedom now. You look, even under Casey, now we've got better forwards than what we had under her. You know, we've got Leslie Russo, for God's sake. How do you know what I mean? We've upgraded.
What goal, by the way? What goal against Spurs, mate? By the way,
she's class, mate. Utter class. But you know, we've got her, who's an upgrade on Jess and Jane. So why are we not? Do you know what I mean? We've got so many players that are capable of scoring goals, and I do wonder, are we too reliant on Leslie at times, and possibly Tooney as well? But obviously, we didn't get Tooney into the game. And you're relying on these players to create something, which they can, but you've got to work that space and that creativity and get them involved. And I just feel like we didn't do that for me. But
absolutely. Anyway. But anyway, we're going to move it forward on some more positive things now. Because as you mentioned at the top of the show, we have got a game against Everton tomorrow away at Walter Hall Park. Yeah, our favourite team. The billing it is, well, it is kind of a local derby as such, isn't it? You know, Northwest, we are both Northwest clubs. I know it's not the big one. I know it's not Liverpool, but, you know, it's the other team in Merseyside. But, you know, it's still, there's a little bit of even with Willie Kurt gone, you know, there's still a little bit of a rivalry there, I think, between us and them, you know. Being Manchester and Merseyside, you know, it's going to be a good game and a very interesting game because obviously their new coach is now another game into his tenure as Everton manager. And I'm sure he'll be looking for a big scalp at the weekend in Manchester United. Do you see us setting up the same way as we did against Spurs, or do you think we're going to go a bit more expansive?
I think we'll set up the same way, but I do feel like we'll probably change, like I talked about before, the way we are playing in that setup. I think we'll possibly see 1 or 2 changes as well. And I know he was very praising of Hayley Ladd, and rightly so. He said she was our best player against Spurs, and I followed it up and sort of, thought similar and agreed. But I think it just needs a little bit, like I talked about to you when we talked about Everton. I said their midfield is, strong and probably their strongest part of, their team, with Izzy Christensen in there, Kenza Daly, Hannah Bennison. So we needed to match that, and I think matching it physically is a good start. Izzy Christensen's a physical player, very strong, very good on the ball. That needs a Hayley Ladd. That doesn't need somebody that's not going to stick a foot in and shy away from a tackle. So I would like to think that her and Borisa can come for me and sort of stick Tooney in front. That would be my only change, literally. And just see what it brings. But I don't know. It's one of them where we've got to go and match it, but then we've also got to go and better it. So, like I say, I'm just open to anything different. I'm hoping that he's picking up these little pointers from games where I have dropped points and thought, right, where can we go there? Where can we go here? What can we do there? And just, sort of go at it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I do worry, though, to be fair, about that midfield battle. You just reel off the names that they've got in midfield there, Everton. It's going to be a key battle. And I just feel that maybe you are right. If we bring Bro Reese in alongside Hayley Ladd, that give us more solidity. But then, will the manager of the balls to drop the captain? I just don't think he will. Doesn't have the balls to hook her off when she's not playing very well. And I'm not going to try and turn it into a witch hunt against Katie Zalem. That's not what I want to do. But
no,
I just think
you just want to see something different, don't you?
Well, you just want to see where players that have not been informed, maybe come out the team a little bit, and then just give a couple of others a chance, because the key battle is this midfield area. And I think, to be fair, Katie Zellum did actually perform all right against Spurs. Not great, but all right, I think. Still chicken and shying out of challenges. And that's my biggest concern against people like Izzy Christensen. You can't have people flying, chickening out of challenge. You need people getting stuck in. And I just want to see.
Wait till we have Arsenal the week after.
Well, yeah, true. I'm trying not to think that far ahead. But yeah, I just want to see maybe a couple of different variations in midfield before we get into Arsenal. That we've got maybe that sort of combo can work between Bo Risa and Hayley Ladd, with Tooney just a little bit up in front of them, because obviously we haven't got no Jackie Groenen. I'm not sure how long. Has it been announced how long she's been out? She's going to be out for? I've heard nothing, unless I missed it.
There was something yesterday that said a few weeks, but there was nothing specific, and the same for Millie. So we'll just go with the flow.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to see a bit more fight, a bit more grit, a bit more determination in midfield, because again, at times I felt like at Spurs we was a bit overrun there. Obviously Hayley Ladd was absolutely phenomenal at Spurs, but there's only so much you could do. You need your midfield partners around you to do their job also. And I just feel that's where we're a little bit weak at the minute, is in midfield. Especially when it comes to the defensive side of things, the nitty gritty end of it. I just think we need to go in there. We need to make sure we win every first ball, and mop up any spillages. Win the second, win the third winners, whether it be in the air or on the floor. And sometimes we're guilty of that. We maybe win the first one, but we don't necessarily go and win the spillage ball. We don't go and mop up after ourselves, or mop up after the opposition. If the ball goes loose from their point of view, I think we're a bit we're not on our toes as much as we should be. So I think someone like Bo Reese will come in and want to prove a point, and want to play, and want to get stuck in from the start. This Everton team's going to want to hurt us, mate. They're going to look at us and say, "Oh, look, they've dropped points against Tottenham last week." That they want to go and rectify things that went wrong under Willie Kirk. Their new boss is going to, as I said before, was going to want a big scalp you know, and there's no bigger scalp in football than Manchester United. So I do worry there, you know. Is there any other players that we should be watching out for Everton in particular, maybe in the forward line, up top? Have they got anyone that can hurt us, or is it just predominantly their midfield?
I think the three that I mentioned, and possibly if Claire Emsley plays, you know, she, like I say, I think I've mentioned this before. She's somebody I'd seen at Bristol, very good player. Obviously went to Man City, didn't massively work out. She did well, but she just wasn't getting that regular game time that she wanted. But yeah, I think she's probably the next one for me. Looking at their team, obviously, you know, we've talked Darley, we've talked Christiansen, we've talked Bennison. So I think, yeah, the only one I can really add to that for me personally would be her. And you know, I just think this is the time. You know, like you mentioned, Man United is a big scalp, but if anybody read the interview with now was it Kenza Darley? It was either Kenza Darley or Valerie Govan, and they did one with Tooney as well.
It was Kenza Darley, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, it was one of them, both French. So that's why. But yeah, but it was that. And she said, oh, yeah, our biggest game is Man United. I'm thinking, Jesus, well, Everton's not ours. Do you know what I mean? So it just,
no, it's not. No.
To show, and that was sort of the banter I put out there, like, ooh, your biggest game is Man United. That's pretty funny because ours isn't you. You know, we don't view you as like a big game or a huge rival. It's a little rival, but do you know what I mean? So I found that quite interesting. So obviously they are going to be fired up. And like you said, new manager, obviously they got off to a good start. They beat Leicester in the Conti Cup. They then lost in the league to Brighton. And then they faced us. So from my point of view, they're going to be up for it thinking, can we get our first league win? Now that we've had one in the Cup, you know, can we get our first league win and kick on? And what a better time to try and do it. Like you're saying, listen, everybody ups the game against us. Everybody, like you say, is absolutely gunning. Ooh, we got a draw, or you know, you seen Tottenham Sunday, they were over the moon.
Yeah, Tottenham celebrating like they won the championship, mate.
Yeah, it was literally like just gained promotion, I won a trophy. So listen, they're going to be exactly the same. They're going to be up for it. They're going to make it difficult. We just need to up our game. And I've got full confidence in our team to beat them. I really have. But we've got to take the game to them because Everton under a different manager with a slightly different way of playing is going to be a different prospect to Willie Kirk's circus. I was trying to get my circus word out and it ended up, I nearly said Willie's circus, but Willie's circus, Willie Kirk's circus, it's all the same. So yeah, a little bit less of a circus and the clown's gone. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just think it's like crunch time really. But yeah, we'll see.
I'm going to put this out there. I asked you before on last week's show. I know I did, but excuse me, that's me. Me flu coming back there. Yeah, I asked you on last week's show, but I think I'm going to ask this one again because I know there's a lot of people that around the world that watch this channel. And probably want to know about Tony Duggan. I know you're not being very impressed with Everton, and you probably weren't impressed with her over in Spain either. But you know, will she pose any danger? I know by your reaction there that you don't think so. But is this a game where she can maybe think, "Oh, listen, if I can prove any doubt was wrong, this is the game this is the time and place I can do it."
No, listen, she wants to listen. I weren't laughing at that. It wasn't the name that tickled me. It was the fact that you said, "Oh, you probably didn't rate her at Everton," and then you followed it up by Spain. I'm thinking, Benny, I've never rated her at all, pal. Never mind Everton. Man City was the same. Maybe a first Everton spell, but certainly not Man City the second Everton spell. But listen, she's obviously a local girl, you know, from the area, from Liverpool. Ex-City player. So listen, that'll give her more motivation. And I'm sure she'd love nothing more than to score a goal, get an assist, and you know, sort of not bite back, but you know what I mean. Give it back to sort of our fans. So it's one of them. You know, I'm not overly fussed, but you can never, just because of my opinion or what other people think of a player, you can never rule them out. Listen, we've said it in the past, and players have come back to haunt us, and it's come back to bite us. So, but listen, on a day, she's got a bit of speed. You know, she can hit a ball. Let's be fair. She can hit a ball from wherever. But I don't see how her end product and passing is good enough. And I'm sure, you know, you might witness it Sunday. But for me, I mean, listen, like I said last time you asked me, she's been hauled off after every game. Now you're not substitute every single game this season or started off the bench. Are you honestly saying that that's a player that's good enough for the starting 11 potentially? But for me, if you're not starting every game or you're being subbed in every game, if that was me and I was playing, I'd have to look at my performance and think, my God, like, am I doing my very best? Am I making a difference? Is this what I can produce on a pitch? Because this is a different manager now. So it's not like, two people or one person had maybe some sort of bias or agenda. It's two different managers. So I don't know. It's just an interesting one because, like I say, she was okay in her first Everton spell, and to be fair, first season at City she was all right. There was her, Nikita Paris, and other various players up top with her because they sort of varied who came in and out. It was like a revolving door. Jane Ross, I think, was one of them. But I just feel now she sort of declined massively. Like in her final season at City, she was very, very wasteful, very just greedy. Went to Spain, did all right at Barcelona, but it's Spain. Do you know what I mean? The level was slower, which suits her. I think the WSL, what you see is you don't get time on the ball, and it's very fast paced, isn't it? And I think she's one of them where she needed the time. I think in Spain she was afforded the time. And like I say, she did all right at Barcelona. Her record was good. Take that to Atletico Madrid, and it just didn't happen, did it? And obviously she's come back, and I feel like I say, it's been a weird one because this was somebody that was an England regular, and like I say, was okay at City, for sort of first season, maybe 13, 14, 14, 15, but sort of after that, and like I say, a couple of years at Atletico Madrid, she struggled to score goals and reproduce a Barca form, and then struggled to get game time, and then obviously ultimately she's come back to England. Still not scored from what I can gather for Everton, which for a forward isn't great, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for me. But she's not one of the names. If you said to me top 3 names, Tony Duggan wouldn't be in the top 3. She wouldn't be in the top 5 actually. But it is what it is. Like I say, that's just my personal opinion, having seen her play over the years, both nationally and at club level for various clubs. So, if people want to agree, cool. If they don't, not a problem. So yeah, just my little personal analysis.
Absolutely. Well, I thought I just chuck it in there, mate, because I know somebody wanted to know about Tony Duggan out there, so I just thought I'd chuck that one in, lad. Also, do you think I've never been to Walton Hall Park? It's been my first time because obviously I was at Old Trafford last time that fans could go to the stadium there. I think you were there last time, weren't you? What's the pitch like? Is the pitch going to be a leveler? Is it something that Everton maybe a bit more used to? Because I can't see it being as lush as the pitch that you got at LSV.
No, it's not. I mean, listen, it's not absolutely dire. I think to me, when I first went, and it might have just been me, but it looked like a slight slope, like slant, like a little bit,
right?
Not massively, maybe fractionally. It's hard to, but it did look like that. But I mean, it's not dreadful. We're not talking like somewhere where it's bobbly. It's an okay, like, standard. So the pitch really shouldn't be an issue. Obviously, the weather's dry, there's a little bit of wind, but these are just poor. Like, these aren't even excuses. These are the Everton excuses. It was windy and whatever.
Well, absolutely, mate. But I don't want Matt Skinner to come out and say Zone 14 was a boggy
listen,
like,
if he comes out and says that, then I'd just be baffled because listen, I remember, and I wasn't even there, but I remember watching the Lewis game when it threw it down. It was like a bog.
Oh, I was there that day, that Lewis game.
Yeah, see, I didn't go. I think I was probably before I knew you lot, but it was just horrific. Now, this is nothing like that. I wouldn't even say it's a bad pitch. Like, it's just after the bit of weather, obviously, if you've got poor ground staff, then it's going to be, isn't it? But we're playing them, obviously. Yes, it's November, but it's not like it's frosty and icy. A little bit chilly at times. But, so it's one of them sort of, typical autumn sort of months in it. Like I say, it's sunny now, and we're here, and it's like 12 degrees, which people may laugh, but for Manchester, in November,
without the rain,
12 degrees is pretty good. There's no rain, it's not frosty, it's not icy, we've not had no snow, and it's a decent. Honestly, people are gonna laugh at this that aren't from around here, but honestly, this is like great. This for Manchester. I'm sat here in t-shirt as well, but I just think there should be no excuses for the pitch. Even a slight slant, it's not really noticeable. But yeah, I just think, you know, the pitch is it's just a normal pitch. I think if anything, the fans are fairly close to it. Like obviously not Durham levels, but you know, if you're stood around the outside, there's not much room between the touchline and the advertising boards. But that's in a way, that's not a bad thing. That's not something to criticise because fans can really get a feeling really behind the team. That's great. But
That's better, yeah.
Listen, like I say, you know, I'm not gonna the excuses that they've come out with are just lame, just ridiculous. So people maybe look at that from maybe our point of view. If you've never been and you don't know and think, could it be one of them bad grounds? But it's not really. It should be no excuses.
Well, that's why I thought I'd ask, mate, because I've never been and I've heard these Everton excuses, mate. I'm not saying that Mark would use them excuses, but I just want to make sure that there can be no excuse whatsoever that he does use it. You know, not saying that he would, but you know, on the off chance that he may use it, there's no excuses there. As you said, it is really nice out there today. It's supposed to be really a bit overcast, but and a little bit windy tomorrow. But that's about it. There's no rain, there's no snow, there's no sleet, there's no. That Lewis game was absolutely awful, mate. But we're in that great footballing conditions then. And that Blackburn game that we went to a couple of weeks ago, that one was absolutely horrendous.
That was it was a better pitch than that.
Well, there you go then. And it could be worse. It could have been a 4G pitch or something, which I absolutely detest and hate at this level, you know. At least it's grass, you know. We've got no excuses now. It's not like Dunsbury pitch or anything like that. So
no, it's not plastic and it's not muddy and it's not boggy.
So, you know, there's going to be no excuse to the pitch. The pitch can't be a leveler for Everton, which is good then. Because sometimes pitches can be levelers for teams that maybe have a plastic pitch or maybe used to playing on a bubbly, muddy pitch, you know. When we're used to the carpet we've got at LSV, which it is like a carpet in a way, that pitch is always pristine at all times. And that's been, and let's not be too unfair that rugby does get played on that as well. So it's amazing how that pitch holds up at LSV. It's absolute top notch. Finally on Everton, where do you think we can hurt them? Do you think it'll be without? Is it going to be with our wingers? Because I always say our wingers are our most dangerous players. You know, we can pin their fullbacks or get them in behind the opposition's fullbacks and get balls into Lessie and get balls cut back through to Tooney that maybe making that last minute or last ditch run. Is that where we're going to find a little bit of success, or is it going to be a bit of the same old, where it might just come from bits of play coming through down the centre of the field?
Do you know what? The way I'd approach this, I would keep both wide players wide, because for me, they're fullbacks. I mean, the thing is, for me, I've always rated Poppy Pattinson, and she's been at the minute, she's not been fully fit, so she's not been playing. And I just think for me that offers, options. I think their back line is there to be got at. It's not what it has been in previous years. I mean, they're playing Danielle Turner at left back. She's fast, but then she's not very strong. So for me, that's where Hansen's going to be perfect. Keep her out wide, out the way, because if she's quick, she's going to get across and cover the centre halves that aren't very quick. So we need really Hansen to pin her. We need Leah Galton to stay wide and again pace and power. If they need to swap over them two wide players, then by all means swap them over a little bit. But at fullback, I think they've used Leonie Meyer at times. I think they might have used that Saveke as well. But from whenever I've seen, it's always been Leonie Meyer. And then sort of centre half has been a little bit of a mix-up between Natalie Bjorn, Gabby George, Meg Finnegan, people like that. So, and I think Saveke as well, the Danish defender. So for me, that's not as strong as it has been in the past. That is where we're going to get. I think in behind the fullbacks is best for me. Centre halves, yes, but I think that's where Alessia that won't matter too much because Russo can hit a ball from anywhere. Her and Tooney's link-up is going to be key, but I think if we can keep the middle uncongested and expand it and spread it, them two wide players are going to occupy. And then if they've got the fullbacks occupied, Tooney and Leslie will have them centre halves on toast 1-on-1 all day long. So for me, that's
Yeah,
why.
but Gabby George ain't exactly the quickest, is she? From what I've
this is it. She's
seen
strong
of her,
and she's good in the air. Yeah, strong and good in the air. But we need to, like I say, we need to expand and create the space. And that again is where, like you said before, midfield is massive and it's important. And this is why I want to see Borisa. She's great at finding passes and putting herself about. Hayley Ladd's going to be mopping up behind. That's your dirty work. Let's go with that approach and see where it takes us. Listen, if we try it and it falls down, fine. We've tried it. Maybe would we persist with it? Potentially, depending. I don't know. But that would be me. Really expand, use that pitch, because that's what they're going to do. They're wide players. Literally, that far wide, they literally stood on the white paint on the sidelines. That's how much they hog the touchline. So if they're expanding the pitch, we need to match that, because otherwise we're going to expose our fullbacks and we're going to get beat in behind, which should never happen. So for me, I'd be matching that energy and really going at it and let the players that are creative in the middle outclass them. And especially in that, if you want to call it zone 14 or our attacking third, that bit in and around the box, sort of in between the D at halfway and the edge of their box, that's the bit where we're going to be winning things for me. And like I say, just drag them defenders out of position. Sandy McKeever's not a bad keeper. So to be fair, we need to really, get as many shots away and work phases of play and patterns as best we can. But I just want to see us go for it, go at it, really attack it. And listen, if we get one goal, let's not sit back. We're capable of getting more. Like
Absolutely.
I say, this back line's not all that. Let's go and keep going and keep going and keep going. That's they always say, the old saying, isn't it? The best form of defense is attack. So, you don't need to sit and defend. Go and attack and see where it takes you.
Absolutely. And do you see many changes for in the United's lineup then for tomorrow? Or just a couple, or just that one that you're saying about Borisa maybe coming in?
I don't even think it'll be Borisa, which is a shame. I think the one change we'll see is Hayley Ladd. That'll be it. I just think we'll see Hayley Ladd in there, probably alongside Zellum and Tooney in front for me. Listen, it is what it is. If that's what we do, we've all been banging the drum for Hayley to play. This is now her opportunity. She replaced Jackie. Jackie's injured. She had a quality game last week. This is now Hayley's chance to really cement her place in the team for me. And then when Jackie comes back, it's another dilemma. And that's great because we wanted competition for places. But
absolutely,
I can only see Hayley coming up. But like I say, it's fine. That'll do, but we've got to be on it and we've got to sort of take it to them.
Absolutely. A quick score prediction for tomorrow, if you're brave enough.
Oh, I'm always brave enough, pal. 2-0 win for me. It'll probably end up 2-1, knowing my luck. I was going to say 2-1, but I thought, actually, do you know what? We should be capable of keeping a clean sheet. We did last time. So I'm going to say a 2-0 win. It's not even our defence that's really causing us. I mean, apart from obviously last week and the errors in Chelsea. I know I say that as if it's like nothing, but it's not been, for me, the defence where we've been poor this year. I think the midfield's not helped the cause. Apart from individual errors. Like I say, discount the individual errors because you can't compensate for that. I think the midfield's potentially let us down. But yeah, so I'm still sticking with it. 2-0 win. Let's go and get our 3 points and go on.
Yeah, I agree with the midfield, mate. I think that's the biggest problem that we have at this moment in time. Once we get all that, the issues addressed, we should be all right. But I still think we've got enough to beat Everton comfortably. Yeah. I think we've always had a good record against Everton. Let's be fair,
Apart from last year's Conti Cup.
Well, yeah. Apart from that, I was about to get on to that, but generally we do, especially away from home as well. We always seem to have a good time against them. So I want to go a little bit more optimistic. We'll go 3-0. I've just got a feeling that we're going to absolutely open them up. I think at times, I think Leah will probably. I think if memory serves me right, I think it was the game last season. Well, maybe it was the season before. No, I think it was last season where it was like Leah Galton sort of really took him by the scruff of the neck. And I think this could be finally the game that we see the real Leah Galton step up this season. Because at the minute, I think she's struggling a little bit this season so far for, I don't know, but she's not really been at it. You know what I mean? She's been a bit... blowing a bit hot and cold. I think that's
Yeah.
politest way, hit and miss. Yeah, the politest way of putting it. It's not the Leah Golden that we know. It absolutely terrorises defences. That, as Casey said, it was the best left winger in the country. You know,
Still is.
I think we need to see that Leah Golden again. You know.
Yeah.
Because honestly, on her day, mate, she absolutely scares the bejesus out of anybody. The way that she runs with the ball, the way she can take players on, and her end products are always usually 100% on the spot, on the mark. You know, so and also Kirsty Hansen, which we had a great statistic earlier on this week saying that she's creating more chances for United that have not been converted really. You know what I mean? And I thought Kirsty. And I will listen. People might say, "Oh, you criticise Katie Zellenberg," but I will criticise Kirsty a little bit, and this might shock people. Actually, I thought against Spurs, she was absolutely. I didn't think she was on it either, Kirsty. You know, and I don't think she mind me saying that. I don't think it was her best game. You know, I think. But I said in the preview, I'm pretty sure that she'll have Grace, Ashley, Tracy, Neville, whatever her name is, on toast. You know, and really Neville kept Hansen really quiet in that game. You know. Last week.
Quiet though, did she?
No, well, no, of course not, mate. You know,
fell on her backside. I love that. Went to tackle,
mate, the finish,
head on the floor, bang.
But I want to see Kirsty Hansen stay wide, like you said, and really take their fullbacks on because there is nobody else. You're not going to outmuscle Casey. I know what I'm saying, Casey. You're not going to outmuscle Kirsty. You know, 1-on-1. You know, you're not going to shoulder barge off the ball. No. Too easy, you know. She's probably one of the strongest players that we've got. So I like to see them in full flight. You know, I don't like to see her and Leah tucked so far inside where they're ineffective. I want to see them at the most effective. Let's get them out wide. Let's match, as you say, Everton like for like. Let's just absolutely hit, even if we hit them on the counter attack. We've got enough pace there to absolutely obliterate their back four. Like you said, Gabby George never going to keep up with Leslie Russo, never going to keep up with Tooney, you know, with the rest of their back line, you know. And they're sure as hell ain't going to keep up with Leah Golden or Kirsty Hansen in full flight either. So I just hope that we play to our strengths and not to the opposition strengths, you know, not make it easy or try to knock the balls to a congested middle of the park, you know. So hopefully, yeah, good 3-0. I'm going for a good 3-0 win. And I'm going to say Leicester is going to bag a brace, mate, because Russo, as the announcer says at LSV, Russo is going to bag a brace, mate. I think Leah Golden's going to get on the goal scoring sheet as well because I think she loves playing against Everton. So, and I think this is going to be her type of game. So I'm going to go for that. And I'm also going to say it's going to be a brace of assists for Kirsty Hansen because I'm confident, mate. Anyway, what was that final thing about? Oh, yeah, about the FA, wasn't it?
Throwing the game.
Yeah. The Football Association earlier this week has targeted average attendance of 6,000 for the WSL by 2024 in a new strategy. Now, there's plenty of things said by, I can't remember her name, do forgive me. You'll know I'm on about. But again, the most overlooked
Sue Campbell, was it?
Sue Campbell, that's the one. The most overlooked one, again, was the referees not being mentioned, the piss poor standard of refereeing. So it's all right banging about having the best league in the world, selling it to all these different territories, but when the referees ain't up to scratch, you know, how are you going to grow the attendance by 6,000? How are you going to sell it to more territories around the world? That might think, oh, what's this? There's this referee giving a handball in when it's hit the person in the head. What's going on, you know? Saying that, though, I think Pogba, which is the Premier League side of refereeing, have taken a lot more of the sort of women's referees into their sort of group now as well. So do you think that's a start as well? Because I want to start on referees because I think that's a point that always gets overlooked in these conversations about how to grow the game.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think by the time we get professional refs, we'll all be dead. It'll be 2090. Nobody will be left. It'll be like our kids that will be going to games as pensioners and all that. But no, I think, listen, it's a start in it. But I think it's, listen, I'm never going to criticize ambition, but I think it might be a stretch too far. You know, 6K a week in 3 years' time. I mean, my days. Everton have got about 200 fans. You know, City, I daren't say anything because they were all crying last time I criticised the attendance and the atmosphere there. You know, but even other clubs, you know, your Brightons, your Villas, who else is down there? Your Birminghams, Jesus, they've got no fans either. How are they going to get 6K in 3 years? Like, really? But like you said, I think just to go back on topic to referees, it's the product, isn't it? And I talk a lot about the product of the game. And I had some really interesting conversations last week with fans. I think there was a Chelsea fan, a Villa fan, and one that supported Leicester. And obviously, you know, Leicester are new to the league, Villa are in the second season, and sort of listening to them and what they said, you know, and they were just baffled. Like, you know, they were chatting and they were like, how do things like this happen? And, you know, Chelsea fans will be used to it because they've been around a while. But Villa and Leicester, you know, they were just shocked. And this wasn't even something I brought up. They just, you know, they were looking at things and they were sort of, how is this happening? Look at this, look at that. And, you know, this wasn't even, like I said, this wasn't even prompted. This was a chat about football. And the first thing they mentioned, without mentioning their sides and their seasons, was the referees and the inconsistencies, how some tackles are going unpunished and some are a booking. And in their views, they deem the ones that were unpunished worse than the ones that got a booking. So it's like, well, we need to look at this now. People can't say this is Man United fans being biased. I'm looking at this as a general here, or, you know, and it's like even lower down, you know, and I don't want to sit here and go on a big ref rant, but lower down, like, you know, I've seen, you were there at the Blackburn Coventry game. We've seen some decisions what baffled us, like when it blatantly deflected and they were given a goal kick and the ball had gone a completely opposite way to the way it was hit, things like that. You know, I've had conversations and seen things with people at FC United in sort of, you know, fourth tier and just baffled by decisions. And I get these people are not full time and they haven't got the training, but this is where, like you said, Referees Association needs to step up. You know, if we're serious about growing it, you're only going to get people coming back and retaining fans if what you see is something you like. And that's not just even performance, you know, that is the whole thing, you know. Tuesday's show, Ella Rutherford said, you know, we love the promotion of the game that we do as sort of this channel and as fans. The atmospheres, you know, she didn't mention refs, but sort of, you know, we talk about it as fans. Obviously, she'd never talk about that, but it's the whole product. And I sort of said to her, you know, Women's Football Weekend, and I mentioned our attendance against Reading, 5,000. How do we retain that? Why the week after did we then drop to 2K? Where's that 3K gone? And it's little things that make a difference. And obviously referees is one. So I think we can help the game, but I get it's going to take time. But if we invested in referees from now until 2024, we'd look a little bit better at least. So that's my sort of 10p's worth on it. That's part of it. It's not the full problem. It's not the complete problem, but it does need looking at. It's great that we want to boost attendances and we've got all these aims and bullet points and fancy presentations, but let's just boost that because it's been lacking for years. Every fan at every club says it, so it can't even be labelled as a bias thing and us not getting decisions. It's nothing like that. It's just a general.
I'm just struggling to think how the FA would grow it, mate. You know, I think it's going to take something like a Premier League to come over and take over something like the WSL to properly go to that sort of mass proportions, you know. Let's be fair, we all know the Premier League can market themselves all over the world and do it really, 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 really well. That's why they are the most recognisable football league in the world. You know, let's be fair. I just don't think the FA have really got the time or the resources to do it. You know, I think the Premier League can put more money into the WSL as well, and which probably filter more money down into the Championship as well. But listen, I don't know how they're going to grow it in the next few years. Get 6,000 on average. I mean, what are we getting on fees? About 1.5, 2 at the minute. On average,
our average
maybe
is
a bit more.
Our average is 2.2.
2.2 our average, right? So
it's just the same.
Not bad, really. To be fair, it's not too bad, really. You know, considering you know. We are playing where we are playing. It's not the most easy accessible football ground in the world, is it? Really, transport-wise. Well, we all know that there are issues with Leeds Sports Village, you know, but that's not too bad. Obviously, I do favour the arguments. If that was a stadium inside Manchester, say the AJ Bell or something, would we maybe fill that a bit more? You know, because of the transport links between Old Trafford and Trafford Centre now,
No, spot on. I think the argument there, and I can only again reference what I know and what I've sort of seen and been to, but look at Leicester. They go, listen, I'm not a fan of men's grounds at the minute. Just going there. But you look at theirs, getting 2,500 every week at home, and that's because they're playing in the city centre and because it's accessible for everyone. But I'm just going to read you something here. Dawn Airy, and it says she's the chair of the WSL and the Championship, said the quality of the on-the-field product is fundamental to this success. Okay, we want the balance of the very best, supported by an elite class performance workforce, right? Now, workforce to me is not just players, it's everything. So if you're looking on the pitch, and on the pitch is fundamental to that success, the referee stands on the pitch and the assistant stands on the pitch.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at the whole picture for me. It's all well and good saying we want English talent and we want girls to be inspired and we want great, lovely, fantastic. But let's not just use we want kids to take up football as the fundamental thing and kids to get involved, because that's not it. You've got to grow the whole thing.
Is that the same girl is that the same woman? I do apologise. It might have been a different woman actually that said about not catering towards family atmospheres as well. As I saw a tweet around that as well. If you want to grow the game, you've got to allow more. No, was that a journalist? Sorry. Sorry, I do apologise, mate. That was somebody else. It just sounded familiar to me.
No, I think that might have been Nancy Gillen, who's been on our show before, and I think she said sort of like atmospheres and looking at the bigger picture, which, listen, she's spot on. I've seen things and people are saying, well, we need to get girls inspired and we need to do that. We do, but we also need to look at the dynamics of the refereeing, the sort of dynamics of a fan, Are we aiming at families or are we aiming to bring men's fans in, What's the result of that? Will it increase attendances? Will atmospheres change? Will we steer away from this sort of, it's got to be done this way, it's got to be done that way? We don't like booing load of rubbish. People have got to be serious. It's got to be everything for me. Like I say, it's fantastic we want to get girls involved, but why don't we promote it better? Why can't we use better promo? Why can't we, talking about using role models and the players, brilliant, and take up the game, fantastic. Why can't we get these players in spare time in school and educating people that maybe have the mindset of, oh, women's football is rubbish and it's not for me? Why can't we go in, they do bitch, or even staff members. It doesn't have to be players, staff members from the club, get in your local schools, give away a few free tickets, and let's see what they think of it. Because at the end of the day, yes, we criticise free tickets, but if you're only giving away, say, 20 or 30 to one class, they'll go on a little class trip. They enjoy it. How many potential people come? They might go home. Oh, mum, dad, I've been to Man United today with school. It was quality. Can we go again next week? Oh, yeah, by the way, it's 5, 6, 7, 8 quid. It's not costly. It's not going to cost us for a family of 4 or 5 the same as it. Well, it'll probably cost the same as one men's ticket. You'd probably get 50 quid for a family of 4 or 5 at a game, So we need to, and this is where it's lacking. Like I say, it's not just about inspiring little girls, and yes, that's part of it, but that seems to me the core focus, and there seems to be an obsession. I'm saying let's look at the overall picture. Let's look at the overall game. We've got home Euros. Why we're not absolutely battering promotion? Let's really get everyone hyped, everything out there. I'm buzzing.
To be fair though, I just want to put over the promotion there, mate. To be fair to Wembley Stadium yesterday, there was absolute mass promotion for the Women's FA Cup final and obviously the Euros at the England game last night, at the England men's game last night, which was widely publicised on Twitter and as by reporters and everything. So it is good, the big, as you walk up to Wembley, they've got on the glass screens and everything. Advertised Women's FA Cup final, and on the lampposts, they hang the advertising sort of banner things. They was all advertised Women's FA Cup final and the Euros. So, which is good though that they have been doing that at Wembley, whereas they could have easily advertised Gareth Southgate's fucking mush all over the place. So, at least that's a step forward there from the FA as well.
It is, but then I looked again and they've only sold 20,000 tickets for that FA Cup final in December.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. I was a little bit disappointed. 2 London clubs as well.
Yeah, that's it. 2 London clubs, not far to travel. It's on a Sunday, so there's no excuse. It's not like it's midweek or a terrible day. So that was a little bit disheartening to see, bearing in mind it's about a month away. But listen, like I say, good that they've got these ideas, but I do feel we're a little bit ambitious with that. I think as a general, like I say, you wanted, I think it was 1,000 for the championship. And then they said the goal was to sell out the women's FA Cup final as well. Well, I'm not being funny. If you want to sell out the FA Cup final, what does Wembley hold? 80,000?
90.
And we're on 90? Okay, so 90,000, we're on 20,000. We're not even half full. So we need to, this is why I'm saying we need to do more as a whole. Advertisement is massive. Being visible and getting out there is massive. And the whole product, like I say, let's not just be focusing on getting girls playing football because that's improved and that's looking good. Let's do more to enhance it and let's pick up other parts of the game because at the end of the day, it's the whole experience of women's football. And, I praise the Women's Football Weekend. Great initiative, but can we do more? Why can't we do one every international break for the men? Why can't, I know it's supposed to be a one-off and project, but why can't we just have a Women's Football Weekend every international break? Because let's be honest, there's too many of them in the men's, and the women's game, but we opportunities. Let's really, so that's just me.
Absolutely. And quickly before we do finish, because I know we've got to wrap up on the hour, United obviously announced at the Everton game, the reverse fixture is going to be at Old Trafford in March. What do you make of that, pal?
I'm sitting on the fence because like I mentioned before, I'm just not a fan of men's stadiums and just because we've not sold out our own. And I do, like I say, and I always hark back to that Leicester game when it was difficult because the sound carries and it's big and you can't always hear. I do think, though, that one, because it's international break and it's Old Trafford, that you will get your day trippers. And two, I do think we are capable. And I said this would be ideal. If we can sell out the whole lower tiers, so Stretford end, the opposite end, bottom of the Fergie stand and bottom of the, is it South stand, the Bobby Charlton one where the dugout is. If we can sell out those, then I would be suitably pleased. We can get, listen, Spurs versus Arsenal at Tottenham Stadium got 38k. So I think, listen, we should be hitting 40k. We've got it out early.
Well, what was the City one when we played City? Sorry, was it 31, 32, something daft like that?
32 or 33, I think. So we're more than capable. So I think, listen, let's smash the promo now. Like I said, let's get players out there and visible. Let's get a lot of people behind it. And listen, like I say, we've done it early. We've obviously done it for Women's Football Weekend. We now need to ramp up the advertising between now and March. So, okay. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm disappointed, but I do think that in order for it to work, we do need to massively push it and boost it, and then it will be a success. So, like I said, and then hopefully that gets people, oh yeah, well, next year we'll get a season ticket. We enjoyed that. And that's what it's about, attracting new fans as well and just enjoying it. So listen, we've got it. We've got it with fans. We had it last year without fans. We've got it with fans. So I'm looking forward to that. It's against Everton. Let's see what happens now. But yeah, that's my sort of 2 P's with on it.
Right, quickly before we do wrap up, on what I will say is it's good that the men's account did tweet it as well, that the game's going ahead at Old Trafford against Everton. Good that Everton are getting an away section. That'll probably be the actual away end at Old Trafford, and it's been advertised on Everton's Twitter page and website already as well that they're getting an away end, which is fantastic. As you said, international break. Hopefully Old Trafford, I know they'll advertise it because United are going to want to make money. So they'll advertise it during the men's games as well. They'll have Mr. Keegan there telling them all about it. They'll be all over the scoreboards and all over the advertising boards and everything. So hopefully we can pack out Old Trafford as best we can, get a good crowd in there. Hey, mate, if we get anything over 40,000, I'll be absolutely buzzing. If we get 30, if the Burton gets 33,000 at the council house, I'm sure we get 40,000 at Old Trafford. Anyway, got a minute to go. I think it's best that we wrap it up, Matt. And thank you for the pre-record. I know it's been a bit of a mess trying to organise it all at last minute, but we want to get the content out for you there. And hopefully we'll be back live next week. And anything else before we finish, Matt?
No, just check the schedule tomorrow for the rest of the week, and that's it.
Thank you very much. And we shall see you in the next one. Enjoy your evening, because it is evening by the time it goes out. I was going to say enjoy your afternoon. Look, I said evening. And we'll see you in the next one.